Ben Gleib's in town this weekend at Funny Bone, and he's also out spreading the word about his presidential campaign. Currently in the top 20, raising money in Democratic. On the Democratic
not
side.
in the top 20.
Number 17.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're like,
We're in the top 17.
so you're like at least 5 million ahead of Andrew Yang.
No, Yang's way ahead of us.
Okay.
He's doing good, Yang. He's like number 6 or number 5.
Goodness, Yang's moved up.
Yang's killing it.
Okay.
I was just at a campaign event with him in New Hampshire, and I was challenging him on his universal basic income ideas, telling him how bad of an idea I think that is. And he's like, I'm going to follow you on Twitter. I'm like, oh, that went well.
That's what you want out of your opponent.
Yeah.
Hey, I may follow you on the socials.
Yeah. He agrees we need a comedian in this race, other than Trump.
That's certainly true. There's no Ben from Idiotest. Most people know you from the other 2 times you've been on our show.
That's correct.
Currently, I mean, that's
Most people nationally know me from that.
internationally as well.
Internationally. I
We
meant
have
to say, I said that.
a friend of
You
ours
guys
went to
muted it.
Canada this weekend, so
Oh,
we're
that's nice.
international now.
That's all. Congrats.
I know, it's a big day.
That's really great.
Ben, pumped to have you back in town at the Funny Bone. This is actually super interesting. Our friend was featuring for you in Springfield, so I got to see some parade action you went out and did.
Oh, yeah.
You've been taking this serious. You're getting out, you're talking to people. Looks like you're trying to make some real change.
It is. That's what I'm trying to do. You know, we decided to go as big as we could with this campaign. The real idea being specifically that I'm unconvinced that any of the Democrats running, other than me, are going to be able to beat Trump, because I don't think you can beat him with politics, and they're running traditional campaigns. They're just
true.
They're just doing what people have always done, and it's ineffective against
I was going to ask.
against this guy who is not a politician. He's the greatest heckler in political history, and the way you take down a heckler,
Right.
from my 20 years of experience, is with a comedian. And so I decided to throw my hat into the ring, and I believe this is true because whether it's my campaign that does it or not, the president of Ukraine, it's been a bit in the news lately.
Yes.
Zelensky, 7 months ago, was a comedian before he ran for office.
Wait a minute. Really?
Oh yeah, he was a stand-up comedian and an actor. He was known for playing the president on a comedy TV show for many years.
What?
Yeah, and so even if it's not me, a comedian looks like we'll take him down.
I agree. One way or
I'm
another.
just thinking of ways of how we're going to explain this to our grandchildren.
Yes.
I'm like, so this comedian in Ukraine, right? That's
And
kinda...
in Italy also, one of the most powerful people in the Italian government, Beppe Grillo, is a comedian too. So comedians are flowing to power.
I mean, Trump's absolutely the closest thing you could have. I mean, he's a performer. I mean,
He's a comedian.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, he goes in these arenas like he's Sebastian Maniscalco up there, and he's just riffing in these arenas. Basically, Trump's whole riff in these arenas is, "Aren't you embarrassed?" I mean, he literally goes in there and he's like testing out jokes. He's like, "Another one. Here's what we're gonna say." And he even like walks himself into corners with these rallies. He just loves getting laughed so much. You can YouTube this one. It's another golden one where he identified a problem with his own wall during one of his rallies. He literally on stage he goes, "Look, we're gonna build a wall so tall, so tall. There'll be no way to get over this wall unless you have like a ladder." Yeah, people have ladders.
This is something that we've figured out in society.
People have figured out ladders.
Yeah.
And I hate to stereotype, but it's not like Mexican people don't have ladders.
It's a fair point.
Whenever I want to borrow a ladder, I call my Mexican friend.
That's
He's like, "You want a
specifically
6
who
foot,
you
8
call.
foot, or a 10 foot?" They got ladders. I got 4 ladders myself. I'm not even Latino or Latinx. And I got many. Also, Latinx, no Latino person wants to be called Latinx. That's a white liberal term we're forcing upon them.
Sure, yeah. that
Like the
makes-
Latinx?
Latinx. First of all, their X isn't even a sound in Spanish. It's X. Latinx. Sounds like I want a beer suddenly. Dos Latinx, por favor.
And you've leaned into it like a lot of comedians. We've talked to a few over the past few months who have tried to circumvent, I guess, some of their audience by avoiding politics.
Yeah.
You're walking right into it. What was your decision to ultimately walk towards it, where there's a lot of people in the industry that are trying to do what they can to be hands off?
I just think that while it certainly alienates a lot of people, when your values are challenged, when what the country stands for is completely up in the air, it's the duty of all of us, and especially our artists, to take a stand and to stand against tyranny and to stand against autocrats and stand against people that are trying to squelch freedom of the press and trying to squelch the voice of small people and the regular American and trying to just run our country for their own personal benefit. It can't be allowed. And so there are certain things that are bigger than comedy and bigger than my career. And, you know, I'm willing to take whatever amount that actually hurts my bottom line. It's been, you know, I haven't barely even been working this year. I've been just campaigning. And when I do, you know, I'm getting into sometimes arguments with Trump supporters, and that's fine because we have to fight right now. You know, by the way I look at it is we can't always be about ourselves. That's what's so bad about Trump. And if people are willing to sacrifice for our country and sign up to fight and risk their lives for our country and sometimes get injured or killed on behalf of our country, I can sacrifice by losing some ticket sales.
Right.
I can sacrifice a little bit just to stand for what I believe in and to say this is not what America is. And it's not even a Republican or Democrat thing at all. It's amazing to me. You know, I think Republicans of conscience have turned themselves against Trump, but so many people just want power and policy more than morals and country. And that cannot stand. And so I put my foot down and said, no more of that.
That's the most honest answer I think we've had of anyone we've had in here all year. I'm glad, and thank you so much for answering it that way, because that's I think we joke about it on the show about, man, if you have an agenda or if you have a reason for doing something, say so. It's I think what gets people riled up is when you try to hide behind corners and come up with your list of excuses. So I appreciate your honesty. Thank you.
Of course. Look, we're just trying hard, and so, you know, I just think the reason I ran is I just kept having this thought: what if I'm right? What if we do need a comedian? Thank you. What if we do need someone just brought me coffee? I didn't say thank you randomly. What if we do need a comedian? Thank you.
Guys, he might
Thank
have
you
an
very
issue
much.
running for president. He's got a really weird tick.
I'm fighting for you, thank you, and I'm fighting for me, thank you. I just kept thinking, what if I'm right? What if, because everybody I talk to says they don't think we're going to beat Trump again.
Right.
And so we need to try something else.
Right.
And I know my candidacy is a huge long shot, and I know that as every week goes by, it's even more of a long shot, and I don't know how many days we got left.
Right.
If the mainstream media keeps keeping us out and the polls keep not putting us in the polls so we can't even qualify for the debate, I don't know how much longer we've got left, but I wanted to at least be able to say that I did all I could.
Right.
I just kept thinking I can't live with myself if I don't try, if I kept having this thought and I never gave it a chance. So I at least know now that I've done my best, and if people want to help give more voice and another choice to the American people as we're trying to not only battle Trump, but we're trying to also fight, even on the Democratic side, all these political machines that are funded with millions of dollars and only from the inside, the establishment campaigns. Please go to Gleib2020.com, Gleib 2020.com, and donate whatever you can afford. $1, $5, $10, $50. It helps so much, and it really, every dollar helps us much, much more than a donation to Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden sending emails every day. We're in trouble, Ben. Please. We only need $8 million more by Thursday. Otherwise, we're behind our goals. We need $500 by Thursday. So your dollar goes a lot farther in our campaign.
Right.
And you can read all my positions there at Gleib2020.com. Click on the issues page and read in depth my positions on 24 different issues we're public with. Some really innovative ideas you've never heard before from a campaign, some great middle ground solutions as well.
Right.
You can also come meet me this Sunday at 1 o'clock at Drunken Fish in Westport Plaza.
Oh, nice.
And come join me. I'm buying tea. I'm calling it tea, tuna, and talking. I'm buying tea and spicy tuna rolls and some apps for people. And I want to know what issues matter to you in St. Louis and the country.
Okay.
And tell you about my campaign. And I'm buying, so it costs you nothing.
That's great.
1 o'clock. But if you want to spend some money also and laugh, come out to my show. Funny Bone.
Funny Bone, absolutely.
Tonight through Sunday, doing 5 more shows. And also, if people want to know, I, of course, will be talking a little bit about politics in my act, but you're not going to be inundated with it. Still, even while running for office, I keep the politics mostly off the stage.
Right.
You're going to get less than 10 minutes politics, and the rest of the hour will just be a lot of shenanigans and silliness and personal stories and weird jokes. And then if you're sitting in the front, I will make fun of your life.
You've seen the industry from all the angles. Like, you obviously been a writer, producer, host. Like, what part of the industry do you want to continue on in should this presidential candidate not pan out?
All of it. I've been never able to narrow down what I do, and I've just made peace with that.
Okay.
I'm not going to probably end up being one of these niche guys that finds a niche. I mean, I think politics will be a bigger part of my life now going forward.
Okay.
In what I create, I'll be creating some kind of a political comedy show, maybe my own John Oliver meets Bill Maher kind of thing happening maybe soon.
Nice.
I created the Telethon for America back in November of last year. I'm going to definitely do it again in 2020, make sure we get even more historic voter turnout. So I'll be producing that, head writing that as well.
Nice.
And hopefully hosting it again. I hosted it last year with Olivia Munn.
Nice.
That was a great time, and we had like 95 enormous, amazing celebrities come out, like Natalie Portman and Charlize Theron, Chelsea Handler, Jane Fonda, Amy Schumer, Ray Romano, Julia
crazy.
Louis-Dreyfus, Pete Davidson. Everybody participate in it, and so we're planning to do that again.
Nice.
Stand up. My next hour is ready. I'm looking for a place to sell my special to.
Okay.
My current special, Neurotic Gangsters, on Amazon Prime.
All right.
It was on Showtime originally, and we're looking for another place, maybe Netflix, to do that.
Yeah, you've got Idiotest on Netflix too, and I think it's interesting just from the comedy standpoint. Do you have a preference? Obviously, you want the most people to see it, and you want to be able to profit from it. I would hope.
Yeah.
What's been your experience so far? If Netflix picks it up, is that the best way to blow you up through
For my
a medium?
stand-up special,
Yeah, for
yes,
sure.
stand-up definitely gets blown up the best through Netflix because everybody's watching it. They promote it. They can discover things. They're the best. Like Comedy Central's cool, but they air your special a couple times and it's gone.
I just saw that with Ian Edwards, and then
Is that what happened?
I think it's
Ian's a
fantastic.
great
Especially
guy.
he's so good. And then our friend Mia just did a 30-minute one. They were on there, and I'm like, I think it's awesome. But I'm also just like, where's it go? Like,
Right.
who's watching this over and over and over? I don't know that is the
Right.
case.
At least Comedy Central, from what I hear, they're starting to really invest more in their digital presence so that you can live there a little bit longer. But, I think Netflix is the best. Self-releasing is still an option that I might do. But all of it, I still act a little bit. I was just on the show American Princess this year on Lifetime.
Nice.
Possible recurring role if they get a second season. And I'm in the new Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie.
Is it that's an interesting thing? Kevin Smith and Jay, or what's up, Jason? I can't think of his Muse. They're taking it around. Kevin
the
Smith.
Road Show.
Yeah, doing that, and like from podcasting starting 10 years ago with him or whatever else. I guess it's just deeply rooted in comic, and I say this lovingly, or nerd culture, because they're gonna make a killing off this thing, and he's literally just taking it to towns and like, hey, come watch the movie with us. We'll get high and watch our new film.
And they do a Q&A after.
Crushing it.
It's very smart. Yeah, Kevin's always been an innovator with the way he presents his stuff and is always on the forefront of things. My podcast, Last Week on Earth, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to actually reinvest in that and really get that going out more. It's on his network.
Yeah.
Smodcast Network, and he's been a huge supporter of mine, and he's always been on the forefront of whatever the new thing is. And so it's incredible how he's done it, and I'm so grateful to him for putting me in that movie, too.
Nice.
I have a very small cameo, but it's a pretty funny scene. and then there's the main titles of the movie at the end, and they show a video of each of the main characters, and it literally is like Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Chris Hemsworth, Ben Gleib. My usual crew. My usual crew.
Hanging out on the Sunset Strip with those guys all the time.
If I had time, I would tell you stories, but I can't. They're such long stories. I can't tell you. I'm just tell you Hemsworth, so he's a character.
He's a character.
He'll get after it. Again, you can see Ben at Funny Bone all weekend long. Real quick, at Gleib2020.com. I did tweet it out. You guys
And you can
check
get
that
tickets to the shows at bengleib.com, BenGleib.com. That's my comedy website. Keep them separate for sure.
Absolutely.
For FEC reasons.
Yes. I did have a question.
Okay.
On the website.
I don't know if I was taking questions. I try not to take questions on
Candidate Gleib.
radio appearances, for sure.
Right. Combining white-collar prisons and blue-collar prisons.
Yes.
First of all, I love the site because you can tell you wrote it.
Yes, I did.
I was like, wow, this isn't boring to
Many
read.
hours
This is silly and fun.
into that.
Not silly. There's good aspects to it.
Yeah, I put funniness into my positions because that's what keeps people's attention.
Right.
Here we go. I'm going to read this. Want to stop corporate crime, Travis?
Okay, I
Do
do.
you?
I would like to.
Okay. Want true prison reform?
That would be nice.
That one thing will accomplish both. We should not have a class system in our jails. We will end discriminatory cash bail. And, of course, we will end private prisons. Choose a better business, bro.
Combine white-collar and blue-collar prisons. Why should there be a class system even in our jails? It makes no sense.
It really does not.
Even when you're a criminal, there's the classy criminals and there's the regular criminals.
You're exactly right. We have a St. Louis County executive that was just recently prosecuted and sent to jail here in St. Louis. He was doing a little pay-to-play, and he got sent to a very nice luxury resort-style prison in Montana, in Dakotas.
South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Right.
And so and the paper showed like pictures of it, and it was like they were selling a resort or a place to take your
like
grandma.
The Passages Malibu.
Right. It was just like
some of these
so...
prisons, they don't even lock the doors.
No.
It's an honor system
Hey, get
in
back
a jail.
here.
Could you imagine if that's how it was for weed dealers? Listen, we're just trusting you not to leave. If you leave, it's not a library, buddy. So it's insane that we don't offer real punishment to the people who are the worst criminals we've got.
Yes.
I'm sorry, somebody who's a weed dealer and is doing that to try to put bread on the table for their family you're saying they need to be locked up more intensely than somebody who's a white-collar criminal stealing millions when they already have a great-paying job and they're just out of sheer greed are stealing the life savings of millions of people? That person should be locked up with the murderers and the rapists, and you're going to see corporate crime drop through the floor so fast.
I'm not being funny. Ben Gleib, you're talking my language.
Thanks,
you're talking
man.
my language.
So here's another idea that my campaign has that's a very unique idea. That, every issue we just talk on two extremes. We don't try to find a middle ground.
Right.
So the Republicans are all like, you got to pay for your own way, pay your own college. We're not going to help you. And the Democrats are all free college. We're going to pay for everybody's tuition, room, board. Sounds great. We don't have the money. We're kind of broke right now. So I came up with a solution that's a perfect compromise. We're going to give free college to whoever wants it, a 4-year accredited university, but we're going to do it online. We're going to create an American university online.
Okay.
And you get free. It'll be one of the best colleges ever. You'll have like guest professors, have courses taught by Barack Obama.
All right.
You heard
and
of him?
other past presidents and other past world leaders. And it's through video and it's online, and you only have to pay for one staff and for one set of administrators. And then you can still have in-person experiences in your town with satellite meetups and with intramural sports and fraternities and program boards, because all of that you pay for separately anyway.
Right.
So you still get a lot of the college experience, but if you want the free college, you go online and you get an amazing accredited school.
I like that idea.
Look at Ben Gleib and his ideas.
I like that idea.
Gleib 2020, Travis.
Just trying to solve all the problems of the country is all. But I guess the mainstream media is not interested.
They're not trying to hear
They want the 19th congressman to announce he's running, or the 85th billionaire trying to buy a spot in the race. Hi, Tom Steyer. I'm Tom Steyer. With $100 million, I will buy a spot. Nobody in the country is clamoring for a Tom Steyer administration. 0 people.
Not one.
But he's on the debate stage instantly, and instantly is legitimized by every single outlet.
Yeah.
Why? Because the system is corrupt. And so the biggest message of our campaign has become, we have to get the money out of our politics. It's so obvious how easily you can fix it, because we have all these huge amount of problems, and it sometimes seems daunting. How are we going to solve climate and stagnant wages and an ever-growing income and wealth gap and gun crisis and healthcare crisis with millions still uninsured? Well, the way you start tackling it is the core of each of those problems is the corruption of big business money in our politics.
Right.
The only reason we're not doing common sense things to fix all of those is exactly because on every one, we're beholden to what the big business interests want, the special interests want, not what the people want.
Right.
People don't care if we get off fossil fuels and shift to alternative energy. People don't care if we have common sense gun regulation that 98% of the country's in favor of.
Right.
But we let these lobbyists control it. So you don't outlaw lobbying, but you outlaw any even $1 from lobbyists ever being donated to a campaign, so they can stop funding the campaign, stop bundling for people's campaigns.
Right.
And then, for once, you'll be able to finally have politicians that are not beholden. So this time, right now, we should demand of whatever candidate emerges, both for president and everybody in Congress, pledge that they will vote to ban all lobbyist money. Even Elizabeth Warren's very strong anti-corruption plan doesn't ban all lobbyist money. Ban it all. There's no reason for it. One other simple law I'm pushing for is you pass one law that Congress has to vote on one issue at a time. No longer these muddied bills with poison pills Oh, I'd like to support 9/11 victims, but there was a bridge in there I couldn't support. That's why I didn't vote for it. Where on earth can you vote for two disparate ideas in the same time?
Right.
That's not how brains work. You can't. It just creates a jammed up machine by the very nature of it.
Right.
One bill that says you only vote one thing at a time. Congress doesn't get so much done. They have to multitask.
Right.
Get one thing done at a time, bud.
They're not capable of more.
And so these simple fixes. I got arrested in Washington, D.C. just 2 months ago protesting corruption and joining the Democracy 911 protest that Represent Us organized. This amazing man named Ronaldo Pearson walked 730 miles from Atlanta to D.C. to protest corruption. So I flew to D.C. and joined him for the last mile of that march, and we got arrested together, along with some other activists, standing against corruption. So we just need to put our foot down.
Right.
We just need to put our foot down and say enough is enough, and finally we'll be able to make some change because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
And none of this will be discussed during my hilarious stand-up shows at the Funny
Well, it's
Bone.
funny, Bone, all weekend
It'll
long.
just be silly and funny, and we can talk politics after the show.
Certainly.
good.
Ben Gleib, Gleib 2020
Yes.
for the political website, bengleib.com for the comedy. Ben, third appearance, it's your best yet.
Thank you very much.
I
I plan
appreciate
to
it.
keep getting better. I'm like a fine wine. You pop me open and you smell me and let me breathe, and then eventually I'm gone.
And then you scream at your girlfriend afterwards.
Yeah.